Tenshinhan. Man that has had some of the most badass moments of the entire series. From his clash with Nappa to his bombardment of Cell. Heck, he even made a save for Gohan in the Buu Saga. Now with his participation in the Universal Tournament, it's my job to see how strong he could be based on as many official sources as I can find. He's Tenshinhan, I'm totally not Mark, and this is the Power Level Series. Episode 2, Tien. Tenshinhan is a human-type Earthling three-eyed people hybrid who's 46 years old when you take into account the roughly 311 days he spent dead. His techniques include the Four Witches technique, the Multiform, Solar Flare, and the Ki Koho or Tri-Beam depending on your dub. There are 3 officially released power levels for Tenshinhan, the first being 180, the second being 250, and the third during the Saiyan invasion at 1830. We do however have every reason to confidently state that he is vastly stronger than this today, so let's take a closer look. He boosted his power level from 250 to 1830 in 1 year while predominantly training under Kami with the other Z Warriors. That's over 7 times stronger in the span of 1 year. Goku trained with King Kai for 158 days at 10 times Earth's normal gravity. Upon arrival at King Kai's, Goku had a power level of 416. We have no reason to suspect that he gained any more along the way, and when he returned to fight, Nappa had a power level of over 8,000, which is an almost 20 times increase. During the Saiyan invasion, Tien died along with Chaozu, Yamcha, and Piccolo. He traveled to King Kai's in record time and trained there alongside his fellow Z Warriors for around 270 days, which is almost twice the 158 days Goku spent there. So, how did Tien's training compare to Goku's on King Kai's planet? Well, Tien had to acclimate to the 10 times Earth's normal gravity like Goku did. He was there much longer than Goku. He didn't waste time learning the Spirit Bomb or the Kaioken, which are moves that don't up your base power level, and he had training partners for a while, unlike Goku. So, I think given that Goku received a 20 times boost in power, Tien should receive a little more seeing as his circumstances gave him every opportunity to surpass Goku's efforts. In doing so, I will acknowledge that Goku is a Saiyan and grows in strength much more naturally than Tien does. Therefore, I will multiply Tien's power by only 30, bringing it to 54,900 when he gets revived many months after Goku defeats Frieza. It could be greater or less than this is just my estimate given the information I have found. And I'm not counting the Ginyu Force altercation on King Kai's planet because that stuff's filler. Now, the Android and Cell saga is where things get a little cloudy. Now, one could look at this quote and think that it could be indicative that Tien and Yamcha have similar power levels at this point. However, this is definitely not enough to go off of. When we look at this quote, he acknowledges the vast gap in power between both himself and Goku as a Super Saiyan. This is even when Goku's power output as a Super Saiyan is greatly diminished by the heart virus. Looking at all these quotes, it's easy to see at this point there is a clear power gap established between the Earthlings and the other fighters. Tien even goes out of his way to point it out. And this is pre-Kame Fusion Piccolo he's referring to here. So things only get worse for Tien as this progresses. So needless to say, there's some major shade being thrown Tien's way, providing further evidence the gap is widening. And it continues like this until his encounter with second form Cell in the famous Shin Ki Koho scene. So given all the information that we've gathered so far, let's see if we can infer what his power level could be at this point. This could possibly be a bit tougher than I thought. So after coming to the conclusion his power level would be in the neighborhood of 54,900 once he was revived on Earth, Tien trained for 1 year before arriving to meet Trunks, who had killed both King Cold and his son Frieza. Once he hears the impending news of the androids, he goes off to train intensively with Chaozu for an additional 3 years, during which he trains on normal gravity, he does not have the tutelage of anyone, and his only sparring partner is Chaozu. So the question becomes, how fast does his power grow when he is training only with Chaozu? In over 8 years, Tenshinhan's power level rises from 180 to 250, with his motivation largely being to surpass Goku, totaling a 72% increase overall. This was the only reference point I could find for one-on-one improvement between Chaozu and Tien over an extended period of time. So, once he was revived after Frieza, it is known that Tien went off to train in the mountains with Chaozu. This lasted for 4 years, only being interrupted by the threat of Frieza returning, and for 3 of those years he is training with great motivation in preparation for the androids. Having received training from King Kai, he has polished his techniques and training to a degree, and I don't think that's an unfair conclusion to draw given what we have to work with. So even though his time frame for training wasn't too long, I will still give him the full 72% buff by the time the androids touch down, because he was highly motivated, and it is believable that through training with Kame and King Kai, he polished his techniques and regimen. That said, he still trained in solitude, and it's been stated that training in solitude isn't the best recipe for improvement. So with a 72% increase, that leaves him with a power level of, at most, 94,428. During the events of the Cell Saga, he does not go up in power level at all, at least not in any substantial or measurable amount. How much training could he possibly do in 10 days? He even flat out refuses to use the time chamber, saying, "Sorry, but I'll pass. He's absolutely not an opponent I could fight." Now, once the Cell Saga comes to a close, Tien says goodbye to everyone on the lookout, saying that they probably won't see them ever again. Himself and Chaozu go to train in the mountains until being alerted by Super Saiyan 3 Goku's transformation against Majin Buu 7 years later. Again, he spends all his time training in solitude with Chaozu. And this time it's without the motivation for surpassing Goku, surpassing the Saiyans, or even to defend the Earth against some great threat. During the Cell Saga, he comes to realize that he will never be a match for Piccolo or the Saiyans ever again. So instead of a 72% buff, I will give him 20%. For the first time in his adult life, he has no specific goal, but he is a martial artist and he does continue to train. And with that brings his power level up to 113,313 at the end of the Buu Saga in the year 774. During the 6 years between the Buu Saga and the Universe Survival Arc, Tien has been farming as well as training with Chaozu in solitude. For this training, I think I'll give him a maintenance buff. Training is no longer his sole focus. He has briefly fought Beerus and took part in the fight with the Z Warriors against Frieza's army, leaving him in my estimation with a power level in the region of 113,313 by the time the Universe Survival Arc rolls around. But it could be, of course, up or down from that. This is just a figure I've made based on what is available to me. Tien could come out of the woodwork next week and announce that he's been training intensely for something, and of course then the power level changes because new information has come to light. But again, similar to Roshi, this power level is not a direct representation of what Tenshinhan is capable of putting out when at maximum power. The reason why characters can fly and shoot blasts is because they're pulling from a finite pool of ki energy. The Ki Koho is the secret move of the Crane School where Tenshinhan and Chaozu were trained. This is a hugely destructive technique. The main difference between Ki Blast type techniques and the Ki Koho is that its trajectory cannot be seen. One of its major drawbacks, however, is its using of the user's life energy. It's even been said that the move can kill the user. But if we fast forward to Tien's fight with Cell, he had more than just the typical Ki Koho up his sleeve. He had refined it to something new, the Shin Ki Koho, or Neo Tri-Beam. Cell definitely wasn't ready for this new move and couldn't break free due to how fast Tien was using it. It's fair to say that considering the manga panels that illustrated this scene, Tien caused Cell a little bit of damage. Minor at most, but it is there. Therefore, I believe, given the information available here, the Shin Ki Koho's power output is substantially more than what Tien's power level indicates. So whether or not you are happy with his power level, this move seems to multiply its power output hundreds of times over, which in technical terms is a metric crap ton of power. So to say that Tien adds an interesting dynamic to the team is a bit of an understatement. He's one of the OG Dragon Ball characters, and it's great to finally see him get the spotlight once again. Tune in next week when I tackle the next strongest warrior in Universe 7 squad. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment on what you think Tien's power level could be, and subscribe if you want to see more. This has been the Power Level series. As always, I've been Totally Not Mark. Thank you so much for watching. Whew. So that was the episode. Another day, another Power Level series. I really hope you guys are enjoying these. I really enjoy making them. And they're, the turnover for these is a bit easier than making those top 10s. Now, there will be more top 10s in the future, obviously, but I thought this might be a nice little change of pace, considering that, a lot of you guys seem to like my reviews and stuff, so I figured doing a bit more of an analysis-based video might be interesting. So, yeah, if you guys enjoy it, let me know. If you guys would like me to do more top 10s, let me know that as well. Remember to like and subscribe. Oh, wait, I already said that. I recently hit 25,000 subscribers, which is just absolutely insane. Honestly, I never thought I'd get this far. I'm always going to keep trying to make better videos for you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Thanks, guys.